Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Seamaster Qatar 2016 ITTF World Tour Grand Finals. Welcome to Doha. It is men's singles semi-final. Please welcome from China, the number 3 seed, world ranked number 3, Zhu Xin. And please welcome also from China, the number 2 seed, world ranked number 2, Fan Zhendong. And kindly acknowledge your officials. From Italy, the umpire Mario Rifaschini. And the assistant umpire from Iraq is Riyad Bada. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Zhu Xin versus Fan Zhendong. It is men's singles semi-final.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Seamaster Qatar 2016 ITTF World Tour Grand Finals, coming to you live from Doha, Qatar. We're here inside a beautiful arena, a brand new stadium, for an exciting match. Could be the most exciting one of the day, although one of these players has played the most exciting one in my mind so far. Fan Zhendong, world ranked number 2 at only 19 years old, is the 2nd seed in this tournament. It's his 3rd World Tour Grand Final performance. He's incredibly powerful on both sides, and he's playing against the player who's fascinating to watch. It's Zhu Xin, the cloud walker from China, named after his fast feet and the way he hops around and can reach anything. The world ranked number 3 is the 3rd seed in the tournament. It's his 6th World Tour Grand Finals. He's only 26 years old and just outstanding to watch. I'm Adam Bobrow, and with me, Johnny Cowan. What's happening, Johnny?
Adam, it's all happening, my man. It's all happening. As you say, what a game we had earlier on. Fan Zhendong against Dmitry Ovtcharov. That was insane. That was amazing. What an effort by the German, going 2-0 up. Yet the 19-year-old showed years of maturity to crawl back in a fascinating encounter.
Table tennis fans, especially non-table tennis fans alike, this is the type of match that has people talking. They come back and say, did you see these guys? Have you ever seen somebody hit the ball that hard and move that fast, point after point? I know table tennis fans around the planet will be talking about that match long after this tournament. What a performance by both. And we can only hope for such impressive points and such a tight match here with these two. Now, history has it, they've played 14 matches head-to-head, and of those, 8 of them have been Fan Zhendong. Fan Zhendong has won 7 of their last 8. For the longest time, Zhu Xin had a chokehold on Fan Zhendong, and he's actually won 1 of their last 2, so there is a bit more mystery here than the record might have it if you looked at their last 8 encounters. Now, also some titles you might like to know. Zhu Xin, mixed doubles and men's doubles world champion in 2015 in Suzhou. He was the 2015 Japan Open winner, 2016 Korea Open winner, and he beat Ma Long twice already on the World Tour in 2016, which only one player, I mean, no one can say this year. Zhang Jiko beat Ma Long in Kuwait, and last year, 2015, the most undefeated year of Ma Long's career, it was Sean Quinn who showed up for one tournament in Japan and managed to take down Ma Long. So I don't know, Johnny, what are your thoughts out here? What are you expecting?
I think this is going to be fascinating because I don't know. I mean, obviously youth is on the side of Fan Zhendong. Zhu Xin's not old by any stretch at 26, but at 19, Fan Zhendong definitely the youngster here. He'll have bags of energy, no doubt. He's a powerful player, great physique and core muscles, strength in the legs. I'm just wondering how much that match against Dmitry Ovtcharov will have taken out of him physically, but also mentally. And then add into that the fact that Shushin, you need to concentrate so much on the spin of his serve.
Right.
And the different spins that he throws at you in the open play. So the factor is that maybe Fan Zhendong knows Shushin really well enough, and maybe that last part won't affect him so much. I don't know, be fascinating.
Yeah, it's funny, we talked about the reverse penhold backhand of Shushin and how he goes through phases. He's streaky. Sometimes it's deadly, but it's just much lower percentage than his forehand. But if he runs around everything, Fan Zhendong will be able to play it wide to the forehand side. But he comes out with 2 big shots from the backhand, gets a forehand in as well. Confident, assertive play from Shushin. Look how fast this is. It's a really good point you bring up. It doesn't feel like that long ago that the match, which clearly took so much out of Fan Zhendong, I mean, he was sweating in every sense. I mean, it was a struggle for him, that match. If it weren't for the ball crack in game 3, lucky break there, could have been a 0-3 situation for Fan Zhendong to try and climb out of.
The man in the picture in the light blue, nice colors there. Just glad the two guys decided on different shirts so we could differentiate them to an extent. But yeah, that man in blue there, recently engaged. Proposed, I think, at a concert in Shanghai recently.
And even more recently, married.
There you go.
The fastest turnaround, November 30th, got the paperwork done. No party yet, though. Yeah, it was at a concert, a little bit impromptu. He was a friend of a Taiwanese singer, went to the concert and started singing on his own. Both of these players can sing. If you want to see Fan Zhendong sing, type in Ask the Pro anything Fan Zhendong. Yeah, it does seem like he's missing some shots that are a bit out of character. When I think of the players that have lobbed down, other than Koki Niwa winning 1 point lobbing to Fan Zhendong, I remember when Shushin, and many times as he lobbed to Fan Zhendong, there was a time where Fan Zhendong's racket left his hand and went all the way to the back barrier. I think it clipped the table. Not quite sure what it was. You'd think it'd make quite a loud sound.
Uncharacteristic mistakes from Shushin. One service error and one not so good sequence, a longish serve, not recovering onto the backhand side for the reverse topspin.
Beautiful, it's a step around signature. Talked earlier about how the penhold grip leads to such versatility. For those of you newer to the sport, the way Shushin in blue is holding the racket. In the United States, we call the penhold grip, I think most of the English-speaking world, and shake hands for Fan Zhendong's grip. Traditionally, in the 90s, the Chinese players played Lu Guoliang one side of the racket, penhold, but were getting exploited by the Swedish men and had to start using the back side of the racket. Look at that shot off the hip, the second to last shot for Shushin that actually made it. The last shot that made it, he took it from right near the hip. So fast out there. Really, these players are both testing each other. It's great to see them clash. For me, the safer game, as fascinating and unpredictable as Shushin is to watch, Fan Zhendong, it's just his recipe is more likely to produce results.
Look how quickly he gets in over the table there, Adam. The power the 19-year-old generates. Number 2 in the world. Number 2 and 3 in this second men's singles semi-final.
9-4.
You know, even though Fan Zhendong's game is the more reliable, safer game, I've seen Shushin pull off some amazing comebacks, starting off slow against his opponent. He'll break off the top of the net, leaving it just out of reach. Although the last time, you might remember, big net ball against Fan Zhendong, it won an award and went viral on the internet.
Not just at the races here, Shushin. Maybe he feels the pressure coming from the younger Fan Zhendong, but not usual for him to miss balls like that. He's missed 2 or 3 of them now in this opening game in this semi-final. 5 game points, Fan Zhendong.
And the backhand is trouble, starts becoming more spotty. Zhendong 11 points to 5, despite a tough match earlier today and strong form for game 1. Game 2 coming up right after this. And we're back for game 2. Xu Xin starting off with the serve. We're gonna have to wait for the music to come down. Very spinny backhand to the short side of the table leaves an uncomfortable backhand for Zhendong. The power of the hooking shot. Again, the pen hold grip, he's able to come around the outside of the ball. Just more versatility in the wrist. Sometimes he'll hit the inside out forehand, but look at these hooking shots. The first one's so fast, even in the replay. Sometimes it's tough to tell if it's slow motion or if it's being sped up. Oh, burned! How does the ball not crack after 2 shots like this?
But the ball even doesn't have a chance to come off the bounce on the table before it's smashed into the barrier. Just incredible speed. But then online you see these guys training multi-ball, right? And the speed is there to be seen. It's loud and it's clear. Oh, cheeky from Xu Xin. His feeling is incredible.
Oh yeah, out of position, 1 knee to the ground even. Look how he takes this. The sweeping leg and another ball. Takes it really late, but still from below the table, as low as they come to the opposite side. Oh man! What is it gonna take? They're just slapping each other across the face one after another out here. Huge shots coming right back. The racket head up, short strokes. This is the Bruce Lee 1-inch punch. We know that Xiaopeng out here, Zhendong is a huge Bruce Lee fan. No wonder why.
It's also interesting just to see the two of them and any other 2 Chinese players going head to head, because sometimes in these tournaments they're so good against some of our, for example, European counterparts. When they come up against each other, it's just interesting to see A, the tactics they deploy, B, how they react with one another, C, how they really deal with the pressure of not only playing a compatriot but sometimes being in a close game.
Absolutely, and they have no coaches in their corner, both being from the same national association. So it's a real test of mental strength, creativity, and yeah, just sort of showing that you can survive on your own. Mental maturity, which we saw a lot of from Zhendong, the 19-year-old, against the greatest threat to the Chinese in the game currently, Dmitry Ovtcharov. Little off the top of the net, but a crisp shot and a risky one at that to the short side, especially considering how many balls Zhendong has blocked back to the open forehand. It's a bold play by Xu Xin. Again, the short side, and now he's 2 points past his total in game 1. He got demolished 11-5 in the first, and he's quickly turning things around. This is the dance, the ongoing, evolving game, changing your tactics, as you were talking about, Johnny, seeing how the players develop, what they pull out here.
Now Xu Xin not making as many mistakes, trying to take the initiative with both forehand and reverse backhand topspins. Momentum swung here in game 2.
If Xu Xin continues this way, and so does the match, this could be the fastest 7-gamer we've seen. They've definitely come down to the wire on many occasions before. Real test.
Oh, it's a wonderful flick over the table. Technically difficult to generate so much power over the table for those watching. It just takes hours of practice at the multi-ball. Look at that, the speed.
This is the signature. If you catch a still shot of Fan Zhendong over the table, watch where his wrist is, the bottom of the racket facing outwards. It's pointing all the way back into his belly, the head of the racket. Going down to the ground, no problem. Still enough pressure with that bending, hooking forehand. There's going to be a Hook It Like Xu Xin movie, maybe a sequel to the Beckham. We'll see about that. But it'll definitely be a Xu Xin show in the top 10. The highlights, he always makes his appearance quite prevalent. And look at this, the score has been reversed. 5 game points for Xu Xin to turn things around completely, to reciprocate the favor. And he does, 11 points to 5. They both scored 16 points so far, dead even coming into the third game. Stay right here, the show's just heating up.
The second game, 11-5, 1 game more.
So game 3, Fan Zhendong will get it started. Neither player in full flow, really. We've seen flashes of both of their capabilities, probably because they know each other so well, preventing one another from finding their real rhythm and momentum.
You know, you did talk about watching the top Chinese players play each other, and 2 players who know each other's games. It is quite interesting. We see a lot of better rallies, longer points from players that know each other's game. It's not so easy to surprise or finish the point quickly or fool your opponent. And in a lot of cases, when 2 players know each other well, if they're practicing at the same club, the underdog seems to have the advantage. There must be some really good studies on why that is, that so many upsets happen because of that scenario.
Solid start from Fan Zhendong. Neither player showing huge amounts of emotion here. Not even a celebrity fist pump.
And they both are celebrities, so I guess it would qualify.
Oh,
man.
Beautiful. Look, just chilled.
Right.
No celebration.
Well, it's just another tally mark on the wall for him. I mean, think about how many times he's done this so far in this match.
Look how high his racket is.
It's got to be, right? The speed coming in that quickly. All you have time to do is move it side to side. And back and forth, too. Where does the strength come from to make such a fast shot in the middle of all this pace? Anticipating he's moving to the forehand side. How does an arm, and the timing too, to hit it back that hard. It's coming in fast, so it's going to come off fast, but just even making contact is going to be tough at that speed. Sometimes it's getting past, sometimes it's winning the point, other times it's coming back to the open table. I think whenever Xu Xin steps around, if he's not central enough on the table, this time started to step around, but just put enough kick, enough spin and pace on it. Got him the point. Chop block a bit short. Not happy with the decision. For Xu Xin, sometimes it pays off. I think if he gets a little bit too fancy and creative out here, the numbers don't tend to work out for him quite as well. And this is why I call Fan Zhendong's game a bit safer. You're just going to see less side spin introduced, less chop blocks or defensive play.
Just making a lot of mistakes, Xu Xin.
Now, so far, it's been consistent to one side of the table. Score-wise, the side that Fan Zhendong is on has won dominantly every game. Comes back so fast. I mean, really just using his opponent's speed and spin. Oh, my goodness, just beautiful. Risky shot there, but it pays off. Short side of the table. Xu Xin's been known to mix it up. His unpredictability is what makes it so tough for a lot of foreigners to really hang in there.
Commanding stuff from the backhand side. Xu Xin with the reverse backhand as well. Watch here, great angle. There's the block, there's the acceleration. Excellent change up. Fast and furious, but quite a lot of mistakes here.
If I was just thinking that these players hit the ball so fast, so many times back and forth, it becomes the normal. You know, you just can't, it's exhausting to think about how amazing every point is, even the shorter points. They're hitting with such quality. Xu Xin saving a game point here. That high toss serve, just low over the net, half long. It's a pretty safe setup.
We find ourselves at 10-5 for the third time in a row.
As far as consistency goes, Fan Zhendong, the more consistent of the two players. I mean, really, you can look at their records against foreigners. He knew he hit a good shot. He holds the racket head up, a pose for the pictures. And 11-5, once again. It's an 11-5 game with the table turned the way it is. We'll see if Xu Xin can bring it back in game 4, continue the pattern. Game 4 after this.
By 2 games to 1.
Back for game number 4, the 19-year-old at the top of the screen fighting to prove himself here. And if you think about his history in this tournament, last year had an outstanding match against Ma Long, lost 11-9 in game 7, so he needs to get through this for a chance to play Ma Long.
Oh, 2 opening backhand attacks from Xu Xin. He's getting cross out here.
The trend continuing. Back edge of the table for Fan Zhendong. It's a very faint edge, both of the players noticed. Outstanding, the chop block to set it up, and then the short side of the table. These are the caliber points we're going to be seeing out here throughout this match. And again, at the rate it's going, it could go 7. One more shot from Xu Xin after that full swing. How he composes himself is mind-blowing. Gets that full swing on the forehand step around, it's dangerous unless he leaves open a whole lot of court. And even still, Fan Zhendong has trouble putting it back.
Difficult to know where he's going to go. The arm length and speed is so long and fast. It's difficult to know whether he's going to play you wide or hoik you back round again.
That's right, he can change at the very last moment. So unpredictable. And the luck comes back. From the edge earlier, the table tennis karma. Again, the ball is round. But still, the backhands of Xu Xin, he's going back and forth. Sometimes it's very streaky. So far this game, he's made most of his backhands.
He's just stepped up the intensity a little bit, Xu Xin, I think. He's gone after it a little bit more.
Whenever he's on this side of the table, he's intense. Whoever's on this side of the table is the more intense player. More aggressive. The scores have been supporting that. Might be a coincidence. A little bit of a shovel serve from wide on the forehand.
Nice backhand over the table this time from Fan Zhendong.
Chop block left up a little bit high near the net. Still almost brings it back. Still haven't gotten into our lobbing or fishing points. Talked about the long stroke Xu Xin has. He takes it a lot later than most players. Here he's been taking it quite early on his forehand.
That's a nice ball from Fan Zhendong. Again, another example of how to change up the speed and the tempo. Watch this little forehand down the line. Fantastic. Must have seen Xu Xin move around the backhand corner. Just played a nice soft spinny one down the line.
Still very low to the net, deep on the table. To have this level of skill, it's almost like if you could computer generate the shot you wanted. That's what's happening out here. They're hitting exactly what they want. Wow. Almost catches it with the offhand.
He's playing with Xu Xin there, look. He's saying, work. Take this one, have a go. I'll block this one, and I'll block this one, and then poof.
And it's gone. The floating push from the back edge of the table. Nice touch recovery. Again, the improvisation that Xu Xin shows here to get right back in. He's so fast, just walking around on clouds. Lu Guoliang coining that nickname.
6-9.
So for the first time, we have a break from the pattern and score. There will be no 11-5 victory. Still a lead. Not comfortable, but encouraging lead. Xu Xin 2 points away from victory on the receive. Look at the angle he creates, and this ball's in at the body, Johnny, right off the hip.
Footwork, if we can see the footwork here, Adam, watch how he comes all the way around so quick.
Very agile, too. He has to lean back for it, come across the body to rebalance himself, too.
Amazing.
4 game points for Xu Xin to tie it up at 2 apiece. Little off the top of the net, 11-6. The highest score by the loser of a game so far is 6 points to Fan Zhendong, so he's leading by 1 point overall. But games are tied up at 2 each. Stick around, game 5, see who takes the lead.
So 5th game this time, Fan Zhendong. We're back at 2-2. Intriguing developments here. Both players playing rapid fire. That last one, the game that Shushin won 11-6, he just really went at it, using the backhand to open up the can, the forehand to see it through. Some exceptional balls played. Fan Zhendong, though, he won't be pushed out of the way, that's for sure. Power again, it's just mind-blowing.
Also been a lot more top of nets. Now, and normally you think of that as a bit of luck, but here it just points out to me how focused they are on keeping their shots so low and precise. Now, this might be a little superstitious noticing the pattern, but when Shushin looks down at his rubber and starts questioning his equipment after missing a shot like that, never tends to be a good sign. And it's understandable, too. If a player's thinking too much about the equipment, they're losing focus on what's most important out here. You can't be distracted. You know, much like Dima kept his focus after the ball break, still played some of the best points of the match right after that. Beautiful quick shot. Looked like he was off balance for a moment, but still no problem for Shushin with his backhand. Footing a little bit funny. Ball comes back, still a winner. Gets so much body into that from the legs, arching the back. And the placement once again surprising Shushin. He's fast, but when he steps around, he's got one of the fastest shots in the world low to the net to chase to the wide corner. Almost one more. This is what makes it so crazy. They hit the best shots, the shots that'll finish the point time after time against almost anyone else in the world, and then they keep pushing each other up, raising the bar, forcing one more shot. And Shushin can take it low. We've seen it many times that he gets into the fishing game and hooks it back. Blasting it down the line, forcing Fan Zhendong into a racket-up blocking game. Quality of the block even, look how low they are and kicking away. One thing about the Chinese players, the way they're able to use just a little bit of wrist to keep the top spin on when they block, it's very assertive and aggressive.
Even in defense, it's aggressive.
That's right. And leading the world, dominating, China is constantly evolving the game and figuring out new strategies to make sure players have the upper edge. The innovators of the sport, really. From the reverse penhold backhand to the banana flip, the shovel serve we see a lot more. They sort of set the trends. So Shushin already breaking the pattern by keeping this game so close on the top part of the screen.
2-all, 5-all. Fan Zhendong just going ahead. Is Youth going to have the upper hand here?
You know, from the start of this match, I was concerned that Fan Zhendong, like you mentioned, would just be spent after the Dima match. But he came out and dominated game one, and this is no sign of fatigue, but quite the opposite, my friend. This is a sign of power, strength, and composure, along with confidence and everything else that goes into the training to become world number 2, and on his way, as we predict, to world number 1 relatively soon. I talked to him at the Star Awards. I said, Fan Zhendong, what's it gonna be? When are you world number 1? October 2017? He looked at me, he said, maybe June? I like it. Sassy. Definitely not out of the question. From a skill standpoint, head-to-head in the Chinese Super League, I think it's got to be their last 4 matches. He was 3-0 against Ma Long last year. This season, he's already beaten Ma Long in a tight encounter by 2 points in the decider. Ma Long's playing quite impressively still. Fan Zhendong maybe even better. Shot block floats a little long.
Difficult one.
It's 4 points in a row for Fan Zhendong. They were tied up at 5 each. Talk about Star Awards for a second, and the time passes so quickly with the speed of these shots. What do you know, Johnny?
Indeed. Case in point, the ball flying around table 1.
That last fearless backhand for Xu Xin to be that far from the table and get a full swing. Shoulder stays in the cuff. Right off the net, up and out. 1 game point saved by Xu Xin, matching Fan Zhendong's score from last game. Now over the table, he's so strong too. Again, the penhold grip, the left-handed advantage. This is what makes him so successful in doubles. But the backhand's a little bit of trouble. 11-6 to mirror and match the score in the last game. The trend continues. Fan Zhendong goes up 3-2, and we'll be back for game 6 after this short break.
You lose it to us 3 games to 2.
Back for game 6, and oh, how the time flies when you're having fun watching table tennis. Can't believe we're already in game 6. With shots like this ending the points. It's also quite understandable. Also looking at the score, no player has lost and scored more than 6 points yet. Again, as I mentioned, it could be the fastest 7-gamer that I've seen. Quite rare to have such consistent scores. At least that are going back and forth. Oh, from below the table finds the opening. Absolutely. A gorgeous shot from down low. Let's see it one more time.
Fan Zhendong was just about to go round the forehand. Watch. Xu Xin sees him.
Perfect timing. I mean, you have to wonder, it's almost like Neo in the Matrix. Like, do they actually see the turn in slow motion? This decision is made so quickly, and it can't be a coincidence. I mean, this is such a successful way. We just see this tactic used so often. Knowing your opponent, understanding the rhythm, understanding patterns, a little bit of anticipation and peripheral vision with practice and confidence, all coming out at once.
Just get the sense that Fan Zhendong's just that little bit more solid. Xu Xin's had some brilliant flashes of genius, but Fan Zhendong just seems to be grinding those little points a little bit more.
That's often what it comes down to. Ball crack or no, let's see. I have a funny feeling it won't be contested. But technically, isn't that interesting, right? The context of everything. It's easy to do the right thing when there's less advantage to gain from doing otherwise.
Great table tennis.
Yeah, and it can be quite disorienting when you drop down so low to come back up quickly. Zhendong with his agility. I mean, he can hop around, leap, and find himself recalibrated quickly, balanced and ready to explode on another wing. So for every reason, this game is super important. For Xu Xin, it's a must-win to survive. And otherwise, we'll see some table switching. It would continue the trend if Xu Xin can win this game. Misses the contact there. You could hear the sound.
Is that tiredness sometimes when you start to top edge, you're not moved into position, even for the mighty Xu Xin.
Right, and even though he can take the ball late, he doesn't want to because he'll start sacrificing his placement on the table, and Zhendong too fast and too clever with the angles. Xu Xin knows he needs to stay in. I'm actually impressed that Xu Xin hasn't gone into lobbing. I don't think we've seen him lob one ball so far this match. It is a habit that he tends to have. He's quite confident in his lobbing game, but he's very focused on staying in. Right back into the body. Looked like for a moment Xu Xin was going to go behind the back. Knew the ball was played behind his body. Yep, see, he pulls the racket back. And then tries to move the upper body, realizes better chance this way. Always so cool. Oh man, not enough. Thought it caught the top edge.
Just an apology there from Zhendong. I mean, he has played those balls normally before, but on that one, I think he just got a little bit lucky.
And it looked like that's where he was aiming, but anytime you get miscontact, you see the apology.
So advantage 19-year-old world number 2 Zhendong against 26-year-old world number 3 Xu Xin here in the foreground with the serve. Trails 5-7 and 2-3. Ma Long awaits in the final.
So we got the top 3 seeds left, but soon it will only be 2. There isn't room for all of you in the final. Now, no coaches in the corner. We probably would have seen a timeout. Well, I don't know. I mean, even with coaches, this is probably the game where we would see the timeout. It's the tightest game. Every game so far has been decided by 5 points or more. Oh, on 1 foot, Zhendong recovers that wide forehand, and the point continues.
It's worth watching Zhendong's body as he retrieves 3 of these balls here. Watch how he does this. 1, 2, 3.
Gymnastics. This is gymnastics out here.
That is a great call. His body positions on all of these. Look at this, down low.
I think it was a little bit earlier in the point, but
yeah,
man, he ended up in some uncomfortable positions. Those positions, if you're not super physically fit, is where someone ends up calling a timeout, pulls a muscle, has an injury, takes a few weeks off the game, and has to go through physical therapy. Fortunately, a 19-year-old body and a very physically fit body is used to this, is well-trained and prepared for every shot. Xu Xin the same. There's not a lot of conversation about his body and his physique. The fact that he's so fast, but if you really look at his legs and his quads, I mean, there's so many photos of him with his feet probably a good 5-6 feet apart, leaping around and not pulling a muscle. Important quick point for Xu Xin to take. Could be putting some pressure on Zhendong, much like Dmitry Ovtcharov did earlier today. No, this isn't possible. The step around, you hit it so hard, this is a shot that just demolishes the ball. Fan Zhendong's already there. This is Waldner-esque. Just sort of waiting. He knows where to go, sticks out the racket. 3 match points for Fan Zhendong. Top of the net. It almost looked like for a second Xu Xin was backing off exhibition style, but this is way too close for that to happen. I think he's just going to take it a little bit later and step around for a forehand. Yep, he's getting ready to prepare for the counter loop. The foot stomps of frustration. Fan Zhendong needs an exit strategy. He's got to get out now. Backhand from middle to middle. 2 game points saved, and you can see the stress building up. That exhale right there. I don't know if you call that a sigh of relief or just the opposite, letting the stress out. 1 more serve, 1 more match point for Fan Zhendong. Oh, the backhand finds the net and escape. It will be a rematch of last year's final. 19-year-old Xiaopeng Fan Zhendong moves on 4 games to 2 over Xu Xin the Cloudwalker. And we will get to see the much anticipated 2 best players on the planet tomorrow right here.
Just a little bit stronger, I think, there, Adam. Fan Zhendong over Xu Xin and made it count. Be a fascinating final tomorrow.
Can't wait for it. Stick around and have a great night's sleep, because tomorrow you will not want to miss a single point. You're watching the Seamaster Qatar 2016 ITTF World Tour Grand Finals. See you tomorrow. Good night.
We resume tomorrow the concluding day here in Doha at